What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now in a Sooner state of mind. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcast and Spotify, Google Play, and Amazon Music. BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, the game starts here. Sooner state of mind, family. What is good? Not our feelings, I take it. Everybody's bragging and drinking that wine. I can tell the Queen of Diamonds by the way she shine. Come to daddy on an inside straight. I got no chance of losing this time. No, I got no chance of losing this time. I don't know about that. At least we finally get to put an end to one of the most frustrating football seasons ever. Sooners lose the Armed Forces Bowl 21-20. And lots of ups and downs in this game. And just kind of embodied this entire season, the way this thing went. Some good, a lot of bad, very close, but not close enough. Ton of mistakes, costly mistakes at the worst possible times. And I'm really just glad that it's over. It was excruciating this year, especially with how much promise we had going into this season, what we thought was going to be the case. And between injuries and poor play and everything in between, it just did not work out the way we thought it would. And that was on full display today as we lose to Navy 21-20. And this game started pretty sweet. I really liked the way it started. Navy kicks off and the ball goes out of bounds. I thought that was a good sign for the Sooners. Sooners also had the bowl patch on the left side of their jersey. That was also a good sign for the Sooners. And they came out, and I thought they had a really good plan to start this thing, getting the ball out of Hawkins' hand quickly, short throws, and using his legs and up tempo with this offense. All that stuff was looking great, and they came out, and the opening drive was terrific. Nice run mix up. Sawchuk was in there. We hadn't seen him in a while, and he looked like the old Sawchuk to start this thing. Great opening drive, mix of runs and throws, everything kind of short and around the line of scrimmage. Hawk doing a great job of moving the ball around, getting everybody involved, and then to end it, Sawchuk hits a 21-yard run for a touchdown. I think he was untouched, and it looked like the Sooners were going to dominate up front, getting a lot of push there, creating a nice pocket and passing situation and just opening lanes. And it felt like it was going to be a good day for the Sooners. And then the next Navy possession, or the first Navy possession, Sooners defense comes out with a great stop. Navy 6 plays, 34 yards, they punt it away. Kind of like, okay, feeling pretty good about this thing. Ensuing OU possession, a couple drops by Sam Franklin. We wondered why we hadn't seen this guy much all year, and he had 2 opportunities to start the drive, and he dropped both of them, and I think that was the last time we saw him. Maybe he was in on some kick return stuff, but I don't think he made it back. to the field to play running back. Disappointment there. Nonetheless, Hawkins, great job. He had some really big, timely scrambles in this game. On 3rd and 15 on that second drive, he runs for 16. Like I said, getting the ball out of his hand quick on passing plays, spreading it around, getting Reagans involved early. We thought that would be a good sign. Not so much. Couple hits to Jacobs. Didn't see a whole lot of him. But then maybe the best play of the game, or one of them, 3rd and 7. Hawk rolls out left. There's nothing there. Rolls all the way back across the other side of the field. Finds Zion Kearney breaking across. Dials in a sweep pass. Drops it right into the basket. 56 yards. Touchdown. Sooners up big. 14-0. It looks like they're going to roll in this thing, and everybody is feeling good. We're liking what we're seeing out of Hawkins. Defense doing their thing as well. Ensuing Navy possession. Sooners defense playing pretty good, staying in their lanes, containing the run for the most part. Horvath did break off a couple runs on that drive, and unfortunately that was a little foreshadowing of some stuff that was going to happen later. But Navy gets into field goal range, and they decide to go for it in Sooner territory instead of kicking the field goal. Horvath high on his pass, incomplete. Sooners take over on downs. Sooners' third possession of the game looked like more of the same. Getting the run going, Taylor Tatum gets in the game, does not fumble. That's a good sign. Saw some Xavier Robinson. He wasn't a big factor in this game like he had been earlier parts in the season. The best running back for the Sooners on the day was Gavin Sawchuk. Sooners driving. They get down into Navy territory, looking at a 4th and 1. I like the play call. We're not going to go for a field goal, and that's okay. 4th and 1, should be able to get it. Xavier Robinson stopped for no gain on the 20. Maybe at that point you want to stack another field goal, but I'm not mad. Sooners should be able to pick up 1 yard every day of the week, especially with Xavier Robinson, the way he runs. He usually falls forward. Navy making timely plays, and that would be a trend to follow them all day too. Like the bad trends have followed the Sooners. Navy gets the big stop. They can't convert. They end up punting. And it looked like it was going to be a crappy punt, but it ended up being a great punt and got the Sooners down on their own 8-yard line. So Sooners driving again, faced with another 4th and 1, this time on their own 45. And this was a little bit of a head scratcher. I know we should be able to get 1 yard every day of the week, but right here you're on your own 45-yard line. So far, Navy hasn't shown you much. Your defense is playing solid. Maybe kick that thing deep and make them put together a drive. B goes for it. Maybe you're saying, okay, let's be aggressive here. Just didn't feel like there was enough to win right there. Sometimes it's okay to go for it on 4th down. And I know just said should be able to get 1 yard every day of the week. But right here, you're on your side of the field. You're up 14-0. If you get it, that's great. You're going to keep the drive alive. But if you don't get it, you're giving Navy a short field and giving them something to feel good about. So we did not get it. And 6 plays later, Navy turned that 4th and 1 into a touchdown. Blake Horvath wasn't great throwing the ball, but he was great running the ball in this game. I think at the end of the day, what did he end up having? 155 yards. Granted, one of those was a 95-yard run, so you're looking at 60 yards on 17 carries. You can live with that. But we'll get to that big back-breaking run in just a little bit. But nonetheless, they turn a 4th and 1 stop into a touchdown. And now that Sooner lead is 14-7. Both teams exchange punts, and they get to halftime. Still feeling pretty good about this game. Defense playing solid for the most part. A couple busted coverages here and there, but the offense, since those two quick drives, still moving the ball, but giving it up on fourth down twice. And the second one was very, very costly. So, plays like that, if they work, you're a genius. If they don't work, people are saying, what the hell are you doing? You're not taking the 3 points, and you could have moved it up to 3 scores, but you're feeling at that point like you're going to dominate this game. I mean, they'd been unstoppable to that point. The one on our side of the field never felt good about. Nonetheless, we move into the second half. Defense plays well again, forces a Navy punt. Sooners ensuing possession. Sawchuk for 5, Sawchuk for 2, Hawkins for 13. The run is working here. And we get to 3rd and 5. Navy stuffs us. 4th and 5. Okay, let's go ahead and punt. And we pin Navy down inside their 5-yard line. Sweet, right? That's what we want. This is feeling pretty good right there. First play, 1-yard run. No prob, Bob. We're liking this. Second long, we're going to stop these jokers, stop them on 3rd down. We're going to get the ball back in good field position. Nobody told Blake Horvath. We talked about the team having to play with discipline in this game, stay in their lanes. Jaron Kanik chases some eye candy, leaves the middle of the field. Horvath takes that opening and doesn't stop. 95 yards to the house. Longest run in Navy history. Probably the longest run in Armed Forces Bowl history. And now all of a sudden, it's tie ball game, 14-14. Everything we felt good about is now gone. We've given Navy life, and they're starting to believe in what they can get done in this game. Ensuing possession, Hawkins, fumble. And where have we seen this before? This felt like something all season long. Bad plays compounded with mistakes with more bad plays. Hawkins fumbles. Luckily, defense holds. Navy misses a field goal. We dodge a bullet on that one. Sooners get the ball back. And this was another head scratcher. A pretty good drive, 12 plays, 46 yards, 5 minutes. But on 4th and 10, BV elects to let Zach Schmidt kick a 52-yard field goal. He does have a leg for that. But once again, weighing the outcomes, if he misses that thing, you're setting up Navy with pretty good field position. I know you're going to try to break a tie here, and maybe you're thinking about that, and it is 4th quarter, but I didn't feel good about the kick. Of course, Zach Schmidt misses, and Navy takes over. And then they proceed to go on a 66-yard scoring drive, converting on a 4th down. And Horvath takes it in himself. Touchdown. Now Navy's got the lead. When we talk about making those mistakes on the previous possession, Sooners driving, Hawkins takes what looks like is going to be a touchdown to the house. It's called back for a holding penalty when Sooners should be up 21-14. A couple missed throws in there, a couple drops in there. Always mistakes at the bad and worst times. Sooners can't get much going. The teams exchange punts. And then about 2 minutes left in the game, Sooners get the ball back. and Hawkins sacks on first down. Only a yard, but we're not feeling great about it. But then they kind of get it going. Hawkins made some really good passes on this drive, moving the ball around, finding some folks. Thought Sooners got a bum rap on the first incompletion to Jake Roberts. I don't know what the ref was looking at. It looked like a catch the whole time, but when they reviewed it, you couldn't see anything one way or the other for them to turn it. There wasn't indisputable video evidence to overturn the call. That being said, had they called it a completion, there wouldn't have been indisputable video evidence to overturn it. I don't know what the ref was looking at. It looked like a clean catch the whole time, but they couldn't change it. Nonetheless, Hawk gets it going there. And a couple of penalties did help us out on that, but they were legit penalties. 1st and 10. Hawkins finds Jacob Jordan 11 yards down to the Navy 10. Very next play, Hawk to Jake Roberts. Touchdown on a little wheel route. Pretty sweet pass, pretty sweet catch. Sooners decide to go for 2. And unfortunately, they do not get in there. Navy erupts, comes out on the field. The refs decide, storming the field, having all these people on here isn't a penalty. Lets them go. Sooners attempt the onside kick, and it's no good. And Navy holds on to win. BV getting a lot of flack about the call to go for the 2. I didn't mind the call. I actually like the call to go for 2 there. We've seen some of these bowl games going to 4, 6 overtimes, whatever it is. It's kind of nonsense. Here, get your 2.5 yards, get your 2 points, game over. That's it. You have a depleted roster, only 56 scholarship players. Let's get the win and get the hell out of here. What I didn't like was the play call. Hawkins sitting in the pocket, nowhere to go, sitting duck. He got smashed. We'd seen that pressure break through the line a lot of times. I would love to see him get out of the pocket and roll a little bit, have that threat of something happening. Even go back to the Baker pass from CD Lamb in the Rose Bowl a couple years ago. That would have been a great call right there. But something, get Hawk out of the pocket. He's so deadly with his legs, but you just left him sitting back there. And he got moshed on, and that was it. And that play ended, like I said, one of the most frustrating seasons in Sooner football history. Lots of mistakes in this game. The holding call that brought back the Michael Hawkins touchdown, that was absolutely brutal. Such a brutal call. Some false starts, some poorly timed penalties. But we got away from that up-tempo offense. It was rocking. They were moving the ball. And they do stuff and never got back to it. A couple timely drops, man. Reagan's with what would have been probably a touchdown. He drops it. I had another big drop earlier in the first half, too. Just crucial mistakes. Zion Kearney had a great game. I thought he showed some good stuff. Jacob Jordan was pretty good. Ivan, carry on, baby. This guy, that's a bright spot moving forward. Big target. Big catch radius. He had 7 grabs for 72 yards. That was promising. We never saw Mitchell get on the field, which was a head scratcher. And then he went to X later on and said, hey, I am the reason I wasn't on the field. It's not due to the coaches. I trust the coaches. You should too. So that was nice to hear. So it seems like there's some stuff going on behind the scenes, but we definitely need him to get it together for next season. Too much inconsistency in the run game. Sometimes the line was solid, and then other times couldn't convert for 1 yard. And hindsight is always 20/20, and it's easy to say a call sucked on the other side when it didn't work out. And when it does, it's a great call, but a couple head scratchers here for sure. And it's just a bummer to leave the season this way. I know 6-6 isn't a great season, but losing those 2 bowl games in the 6-6 seasons drops the Sooners to 6-7. So those are both losing seasons. Think metric-wise, we feel a little bit better about things if those 2 seasons are 7-6 seasons, along with the pretty good season we had last year and the 10 wins or whatever it was. The difference has been quarterback play. Hawk was good in this game, needs some polishing. I'd love to see Arbuckle on the sideline working with him already. I think he is going to be a phenomenal player, just needs some time to learn. But he's got athleticism off the charts, made some huge plays when we absolutely had to have them. And I don't put this loss on his play at all. He stepped up when his number was called every time this season, did the best he could with the tools he had. And I am excited for the future there. I think I don't know if it's going to be an open competition when Mateer gets to town, but I do believe that Hawkins will push him, and that's a good thing. And having a young offensive mind like Arbuckle is going to help take Hawkins to the next level too. So I am excited about the future here. Knock on wood, but I can't imagine that the O-line is depleted by injury like it was this year. A lot of young guys had to get out there and get reps, and they struggled this year, but that will pay dividends next season, getting some of those or taking some of those licks early on and figuring some stuff out. But next year has to be a lot better. And Sooner Nation's out there losing their minds right now. I know a lot of people are calling for BV's head, and I understand where they're coming from. Everybody wants to blow this thing up, but they're not coming with an answer. They're like, oh, fire everybody. Okay, now you fired everybody. Now what do? They don't have answers. They just are being reactionary. And I get it. And 6-7 at OU is not good enough. And it's not going to be the future. But you look, this team has been spoiled, or this fan base has been spoiled by excellent quarterback play. For almost the last 20 years, we've had almost every other guy be a Heisman Trophy winner. And when Dylan Gabriel was healthy, we saw what this team was capable of last year. And the year before that, when he was out, we didn't have a backup plan and it didn't work out. And this year, we expected Jackson Arnold to take that step, and it just did not happen. Now, not all of it was his fault by any means. We know about the offensive line and the receivers. I don't know that anybody without a ton of experience could have navigated that. I don't know if DG could have navigated that, but I would have liked to have seen him try. But that's neither here nor there. Here is where we are, and what can we do moving forward? And like I said, a ton of people are calling to can BV. I'm not one of those, and they don't have a plan. They just want everybody gone, and I understand that. But we get that 2-point conversion, and the narrative is completely different. Oh, what a gutty win. They found a way to get it done. They were down to 56 scholarship players and still made it. Didn't have some of their best players on defense, blah, blah, blah. The optics change, baby. It's just a play away. Some of these games are just a play away from being totally different. So you have to step back and not be emotional about the decisions you're making, but they don't call them fans for nothing because they are fanatics. I did like the 2-point conversion to try to end that thing. It makes no sense to me to go into overtime and then you say you can't score from 3, so now we're going to go back to the 25 and have to score a touchdown and stop the other team from scoring, or maybe kick a field goal where your guys already missed one today. And then if you do that, your next drive, you have to score a touchdown and go for 2. And then it's a battle of 2-point conversions to the end. So why not just try to finish the thing with one play? And I'm fine with that. A couple of decisions I didn't like on the 4th and 1, but you can live with that. This team, like I said, should be able to get a yard every time it needs it. The one from the 45 felt like it changed momentum, though. I like the one from the 20. And I know that's a little hypocritical saying you like it sometimes and other times you don't, but there's times, man, and maybe BV doesn't have his finger on the pulse all the time. I don't know. A couple head scratching calls. And then overall, there's a lot of heat on Joe John Finley. We're not seeing the tight end room develop like we think it should there's talent there. At least Caden Helms was on the field. That's a good sign. And maybe Mitchell is going to grow from this experience. He reclassified to come out early, so maybe he just needed another year to mature. And there's nothing wrong with that, and that's fine. He seems committed to it, so I hope he stays true to that. Will we lose any more players to the portal now? I don't know. The next period that it opens up, will we get some more players in here? Probably. Rosters are getting cut down no matter what. So some of these players that jumped in weren't going to have a home anyways next year. So, but fan base wants names that they know coming in regardless. Everybody expects big time moves no matter what. And it doesn't always happen like that. And you have to re-recruit your guys every year and you have to pay them. And now that money's involved, people can get in your ear a little bit easier. Maybe people can offer a couple more dollars and that changes your decision. But until all that gets dialed in a little bit, we're going to have more of the same. So I feel positive about where it's going. Who expected some big transformation between where the regular season ended and this bowl game? What changed? We lost a bunch of players. Arbuckle is here now. Mateer is here now. Some of these guys are going to get healthy. We build and we move forward. You can't keep looking back. Who gives a shit? It's over. It's done. It is time to move forward. We're not feeling great like we wanted to, but it is what it is at this point. I still believe BV is the guy to move us forward. It was a total, mess up with Seth Luttrell, but he addressed it, got him out of there, and got a young, bright offensive mind that's had some outstanding quarterback play the last couple of seasons where he's been. And now he's got his dude coming to town that already knows the system. You got Mike Hawkins, who's got all the talent in the world. I love what I saw to him. This guy is a true competitor. He says, I want to be at Oklahoma, so he doesn't mind the competition, and that is going to pay dividends down the road too. And as we've seen, you're only a hit away from getting in there anyways. So I think that QB room is going to be a lot better moving forward. They've gotten a couple of the guys in from the transfer portal, but we have addressed that, and hopefully that's enough moving forward. We've got a couple O-linemen coming in. Hopefully that helps solidify that as well. And then some of these young receivers have to step up and play better. It's as simple as that. And we got to get more production out of the tight end room. Looks like X and Tatum will be the dudes moving forward. I feel comfortable about that, but overall, it's just got to be better. And I understand the frustration, and it's completely warranted, but just blowing everything up for no reason makes zero sense. Now, with Arbuckle in place, with the quarterback in place, if we don't see big changes in the offense and big changes to how this team finishes, then we can have a talk next year. But this has been a process, and when we haven't had good quarterback play, the team has suffered because of it. It looks like we've solved that, so hopefully moving forward, we're going to be okay there. And this is just relieving the season with a bad taste in our mouth when a win would have made us at least feel so much better in this downtime until we get to the spring game. But maybe we use it as fuel. Hopefully so. The right guys will stay committed to the program, and they'll want to bring it back and move forward. And with good quarterback play, I know we would have had at least 2 or 3 more wins this season. So I'm excited about the future. Got to shake this crap off right now. I know it's difficult because it feels awful and it's so raw as it just happened a little while ago, but throw that shit away and we're moving forward. That being said, there are still football games to be played, as well as the first round of the playoffs was last week. And I was completely stoked for those games last week. And unfortunately, they were all duds. None of them hit. And I really wanted to see what the numbers were compared to the NFL doubleheader. But those NFL games last week were awesome. And every one of the college football playoff games of the first round completely sucked. And now you have people talking about How can we change the process? Strength of schedule has got to be a bigger part of the determining factor on who gets in. And I understand that. And that is a legit concern. But this was the first year of it. It will get better and we'll figure things out. And just because you have two teams that look like they're matched up evenly on paper doesn't mean that's going to happen. You could have had different teams and still had crappy results for these first games. A lot of the quarterback play, though, was not good. We started with Indiana at Notre Dame last Friday. Notre Dame won 27-17. Wasn't really as close as that score dictated. Notre Dame came out and were just putting the beat down on those guys, and they scored a little bit late, but Notre Dame clearly outclassed Indiana in that game. SMU, Penn State, bummer on the biggest stage that Kevin Jennings had such a poor game. He had been so dynamic all season, and he just did not have a good game against Penn State. I know Penn State did a lot on defense, but it was just mistakes you hadn't seen him make all season long. Of course, Penn State made some good plays on defense, but Jennings just made bad decisions, and it really hurt his team. And they were very costly, and they got blowed out 38-10 because of that. Clemson at Texas. This was a pretty good game. It was close for a while. Cade Klubnik played pretty solid. They tried to keep going, but they just got overrun by Texas's run game. Texas just a little too much, and Clemson could not slow them down, and turned out to be a shootout, and that's not what Clemson is built for. Had to do better against the run, and it just did not happen. And then maybe the biggest disappointment of the weekend was the performance that Tennessee put on against Ohio State. Ohio State rolled in this game 42-17, and Will Howard was absolutely phenomenal in this game. And the difference between the teams that the quarterbacks played poorly in and the teams that the quarterbacks played well in, night and day. And if you had a quarterback that played solid other than Clemson, your team is moving on. And Ohio State looked like the most complete team from last weekend, solid in every aspect of it. And Will Howard was so good in this game. So Ohio State is going to be tough to beat. And that's unfortunate for Oregon because that is going to be a brutal, brutal matchup. Oregon goes undefeated, gets a first-round bye, and then their reward for playing so well, they get to take on Ohio State, who is the 8th seed in this thing. So that's why they might have to mess with this seeding because Ohio State might have been the second best team out here. I don't think they're the 8th best because they put the beat down on Tennessee. And moving into the Rose Bowl, Ohio State are 2.5-point favorites going into that game. Earlier in the season, Oregon won in Oregon by 1 point. And the way Ohio State looked last week, man, those Ducks are going to have their hands full. Dylan Gabriel's had a solid season, though. I'm a little bit worried about that Ducks defense. It's a classic Rose Bowl matchup between what in the past was a Big Ten and a Pac-12 team. Now they're both Big Ten teams, which is a little weird, but it's going to be an awesome game. Tickets for this in the secondary market, you can get in for $215, which is not bad. It's a little under face, and you can go up to about $900 to watch that game. I'm completely stoked for that, and I think the winner of that one is going to be in pretty good shape. Fiesta Bowl, Penn State against Boise State. And even though Boise State is the higher seed in that one, they're also 10.5-point dogs. So it should be a pretty pro Boise crowd. They've done some good stuff in the Fiesta Bowl. Shut up. I don't want to hear about it. I was at that stupid game, okay? Bunch of horse crap. Nonetheless, tickets are cheap, about $160 up to $900. So if you find yourself in Arizona, why not cruise over to that game? And we'll see if Genty can get it going against that Penn State defense who hassled SMU all day and really shut down a high-powered SMU offense. So that's going to be a fun matchup as well. Texas against ASU in the Peach Bowl. Another lower seed, 13.5-point favorites in this one. They do ASU no favors, sending them all the way to Georgia. There will be very few ASU fans there, I believe. Texas will travel well. Couldn't have had the Sun Devils play any further from home than this, but it's been stacked against these Devils all season long. Can they Scarborough their way into the next round? They absolutely destroyed Iowa State to take that Big 12 championship. So can they keep this magical season going? They were picked to finish last in that conference. So what did they do? They went out there and won it. So can they shut down that Texas run game, and can Texas shut down the Scarborough action? I'm stoked for those Sun Devils. I would love to see them do their thing at the next level. It's going to be a pro Texas crowd, but I think the Sun Devils want it that way. And tickets for that thing, cheap, $35 you can get into the Peach Bowl, up to $750. $35? Are you kidding me? That makes me want to find a couple listeners in Georgia and just buy them a couple tickets so they can report back to Sooner State of Mind and let us know how the game was. You can get a couple of those cheapies. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Let me know. I could probably rock that for you if you're going to go to the game and report back. I'm not getting you good tickets, but we might be able to do those 35 bangers if you report back. So hit me up on any of the socials and we can talk about it. And then it's Notre Dame versus Georgia. I loved what I saw out of Notre Dame. Feeling the love in that love run game was way too much for that Sig Pack in Indiana, talking all that smack, and went in there and got a beat down in their home state. Notre Dame proved they were the bad boys of Indiana, absolutely smacking those Hoosiers. And Georgia with no Carson Beck, what's going to happen in this thing? Georgia, the only higher seed to be favored. They're a 2-point favorite in this game, even without Carson Beck starting. So that is going to be a very interesting game. I love Notre Dame's defense. I love what they've done in the run game. Can Riley Leonard play well enough to elevate the Domers in that game? It's going to be good. And it's all coming up next week. And I am stoked for it. Sooner Nation, Sooner State of Mind family, keep your damn chins up, okay? All will be fine. It's not the season we wanted, not the season we envisioned, but that doesn't mean we're not on the right path. It is frustrating. It's another year of this, but I believe we addressed our major areas of concern. We got one of the best QBs in the nation coming into the mix next year. We have a dynamic, young offensive coordinator / quarterback coach to be in the ears of those quarterbacks. Dynamic running backs, get healthy on the line, a ton of talent on the defensive side of the football. And some of these young receivers got reps. They need to improve. They need to put in the work in the offseason, and hopefully they do. And we have to trust the process and then see what happens. Okay? So the sky is not falling. I know it's not what we wanted, but it's going to be okay. Okay? Okay? Oklahoma is okay. Breathe, people. Just breathe. Also, while you're out there breathing in the air, bring in the love, push out the jive. While you're doing that stuff, head on over to Believe.com. That's BLEAV.com. Go to shows, type in Sooner State of Mind, and you are locked. A ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere, Believe.com. If you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube and search the Football Dudes. We are there. Sooner State of Mind is brought to you by Bet Online. Good, bad, rain or shine. My name is Casey Mallon, and I am always and forever in a Sooner state of mind.